Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Laure Gery. I'm in charge of media training and programmatic at Numbly. And I work on retail media a lot, on data collaboration as well. And I'm delighted to have you here, Erick and Stéphane. We are going to spend 30 minutes together, and we're going to talk about data collaboration. How can we build data collaboration? What type of insights can we get from data collaboration, and how can we use those insights for media activation and to improve our efficiency? Erick, good afternoon. You are sales director at Playmobil today, and Stéphane, managing director France at Amazon Ads, and Luca as well. We are going to talk about data collaboration from a marketing point of view today, but we wanted to start this session by focusing on the technological part of data collaboration, clean rooms. Luca, can you tell us more about clean rooms? Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Clean rooms. It's a buzzword at the moment. It's a new object, but it's not only about technology. It's about technology, but also it's about a framework, allowing us to work together. It's not a technology that's going to replace other technologies to solve all the marketers' problems. No. It's an object, it's interesting. And it's quite new. And it's a game changer in terms of data in MarTech, especially in the way companies organize themselves. Companies realized that they owned a lot of data, and that data were valuable, and that data were a key asset. And therefore, data can be even more valuable if it is shared, because you can use your own data and give it more value. And companies realize that. And usually all this data is stored on the cloud, and you have to make it accessible. So they created hotels, so to speak, so that they could make their data available to partners in a safe way, of course. We're talking about technology, frameworks, collaboration frameworks that are very safe, so that we can comply with all the different rules and to anonymize the data. And with these technological tools, which data can we make available to who and for which purpose? For which reason? Because we want to avoid problems. We want to avoid misuse of data. And we will see that this afternoon. There are many different use cases, an increasing number of use cases, and everything is possible. You can combine a lot of different data, CRM data, behavior data, purchasing data. And we will see that with the first use cases that we're going to look at from retailers. So we're talking about a technological object that is really a game changer. But what you should remember is that there are more and more clean rooms. There isn't a single clean room. And what is at stake today is that these clean rooms become hubs. So you need to coordinate all of these ecosystems. You have retailer partners, you have many different partners. And how do you navigate within this ecosystem to leverage your own data, your partner's data, to organize collaborations, to make sure that it's not going to be a cost center to find these partners, but that you are going to align all these cost centers with use cases and are going to create value. And how do you make sure that you have what you need internally to create value? We're going to talk about a first use case, but there are others that we can talk about. Thank you very much, Luca. Before we get into it with you, Erick and Stéphane, to make everything that has just been said more tangible, we wanted to show you a use case that we had with Bonduelle and Carrefour. We are lucky to work with Bonduelle. We have been working with them for a few years. They came to us to say that they wanted to try out a use case for retailer data with Carrefour, to use it to conduct studies, to better understand their consumers' behavior, to understand which products their consumers bought, which products they bought that weren't Bonduelle's products. And the idea also was to understand the ROS, incremental ORS, return on ad spend. And Bonduelle actually won a competition, a marketing competition, so we are very proud. We first used this data in order to conduct a study. And we analyzed the data, Carrefour data, to better understand the profile of the buyers, to categorize them, to know where we should focus our efforts to generate as much incremental gains as possible. And then we use Carrefour data to improve our media purchases over time, and then to focus on media strategies that would generate more sales for Carrefour. And at the end of the activation, we measured the incremental impact of this campaign. Beforehand, actually, we identified targets, and then we isolated a test group that we didn't expose to the campaign, and then we analyzed the difference in behavior between the test group and the other group that we used the data on. And that is how we managed to measure the real impact of this campaign on buying behavior, rather, for Bonduelle products. And this campaign generated an incremental conversion rate of over 8%, which means that the people exposed bought 8% more than those who hadn't been exposed. So we were able to measure this very objectively for Bonduelle, the real impact of digital media investment on consumers, online and offline. So that was the Bonduelle case, and you can ask questions about that later on at the end of the session if you want. And I didn't mention that, but Erick is passionate about retail media, so that's why we're happy to have him with us today. Well, let me find the questions I wanted to ask. Playmobil is very present on Amazon at the moment. It's one of your main retailers. Stefan, can you tell us more about the role that ads have for a brand like Playmobil? Well, first I would like to take a step back. The answer is essential. It's essential to have this type of collaboration. When we talk about the digital world right now, e-commerce in particular, we have a lot of competition. There is a lot of competition, and therefore brands have to be relevant to emerge. And when it comes to data collaboration, what is good for retailers and brands to work together is to focus on the consumers, because we both have this obsession with consumers. And the reason we focus on consumers so much is that we want to offer them the right products, to deliver the products quickly with good customer service. And from the brand's perspective, what does that mean? It means that the brand wants to have a relevant message delivered to the right audience. And this year, for example, we talk a lot about frugal marketing. I'm not sure that in this room someone has doubled their budget for marketing this year. I don't think so. So how can you do more? How can you use data collaboration to get marketing intelligence? And how do you use that for marketing and advertising strategies? For an e-commerce company like Amazon, or for a brand like Playmobil using Amazon ads, you need to look at the entire purchasing journey of the consumer. You can use that to retain your customers or to other purposes. And data is really interesting. And these new techniques are very interesting because we can use them with 2P, 3P to gather the data and to have very granular data and to have use cases. And then we can use that to improve our investment. So it's crucial. When you have 500 million references on Amazon, for example, if you're a brand, even if you have 30,000 visitors every month, you need to stand out, and therefore you need to talk to the customers, but you can't send the same message to all your customers because people are different from each other. I don't know if I answered the question. I think the answer was perfectly clear. Exactly. Can you tell us more about how you do that at Playmobil, these Amazon activation? Well, first, we have been on Amazon for a long time, and we're one of the few brands that do not sell food that started working with Amazon Market very early. And we have been working together along with the marketing service at Amazon for a long time. We analyze everything, for example, ROAS, as everyone knows. We invest on advertisement and we analyze that to see how our turnover changes based on that. And we try to be as effective as possible doing that. And every time there is an opportunity, for example, videos, on the 11th of December 2020, I remember the exact date, he's really passionate about what he does, I told you. We were the first brand to try videos with you. Amazon had a lot of ideas to help enrich our content, and I was convinced that videos would definitely help with conversion, and it was true, actually. That's very interesting. You mentioned results. At Amazon, you really worked on the AMC clean room. Can you tell us more about its performance and AMC? So Amazon Marketing Cloud, it's a part of Amazon focusing on customer data, and in a couple of years we would like to do more for brands and for customers. Perhaps one day we'll have a master clean room. But for now we have this Amazon clean room, and it has several strengths. First, we can integrate various sources of data in a safe area in the clean room. And sometimes it's difficult to gather all your data as a brand, your own data. On top of that, you have second-party data, so for example, Amazon data or Carrefour data or other retailers' data. It's a hot data or exclusive data, sometimes, it depends. And with Amazon, we try to focus on our customers, so on brands. And so we also work on 3P data. And so instead of having retail and Amazon signals only, we try to open them to other brands. So for example, if there's a brand on AMC, it could be useful to enter data from TV, from Google, from TikTok, to compare how relevant the solutions are, the solutions that the brand uses with Amazon or other partners. And the aim for business managers, sales managers, is to know how they're spending their money. For every euro you spend, on which channel should you do it, what is the priority, and how important are these different channels together. And I think what's important about clean rooms is that brands can focus on different audiences and on different consumption signals, on different purchasing journeys. And I think up until now, we weren't able to do that at such a large scale.
About studies,
Erick, have you ever used Amazon data to conduct studies, and how? We used the beta version of Amazon Cloud. We were one of the first companies to use that, and the results were very convincing. We used AMC. We still use AMC, and I can give you an example of Asterix, for example. We worked with the marketing teams when we launched Playmobil Asterix. Well, I think everybody is aware of that. So we launched Asterix Playmobil, and we had to expand, to look outside of our own territory to see who could be interested. So, for example, movies on Amazon Prime. We tried to see who was interested in the comic books, for example. And then we wanted to target that segment to be more efficient, and the results were very good. And then we also used vehicles. We launched vehicles, and we worked with the marketing teams to see who would be interested in buying products about cars and to target these people directly. So in terms of efficiency, I think the results were great. So this was one of the use cases, very interesting. And you support more and more brands. Many brands now use AMC to measure their investments. Do you have any use case examples that you could give us? Well, they are very conventional use cases, but taking a step back again, the main goal for a brand when using a clean room, when using it well with their partners, they have several goals. First, working on their audience. Second, improving their multi-channel campaign. Thirdly, ROI and measuring it. And fourthly, being able to scale up afterwards. So you have a use case, and then you want to use that to scale up. And you should include that in campaign setups to plan your campaign, because you can save investment this way using clean rooms. And it's a tool that should make you smarter. You have to put it into practice, otherwise you're just going to spend a lot of energy on it. So you need to invest in media to get signals, otherwise you don't have any data. And you need people, you need staff as well, and partners. So to answer your question, frequency capping, so repetition, you want to make sure that you're not going to do too many repetitions on a single segment and wasting money. Then second, better together. So you have solutions that are very performant and others that are more about being well known. And then what happens if you have an audience that is only exposed to search or to display and search, or in which order and which amount, and what are the results you get from all these different audiences? And as you said with Bonduel, we have different pool of people, and how do they respond? And third, purchase. When you include all the different signals, 1P, 2P, 3P, how do you figure out the different journeys for your customers? Which moments are key in this journey, and which moments are most relevant? Once you know all of that, you can then make it actionable in a media plan to activate your channels in the right order. Yes, and then you can plug in on different MMM test typologies that brands use a lot, and then you can feed data and in a collaborative way. And you can also work on your partners' methods. So actioning insights. AMC can also help identifying audiences, segments that are very responsive, very relevant. Once you identified that, can you use these segments to activate them directly? Yes, that's why it's so convenient. You have the audiences available in DSP, and you can also use the search console. And what's interesting about frugal marketing is that you can start by better knowing your audience. That's key. If you better know your audience segments and how they respond to certain products or types of communication, then you can improve your investment beforehand. And if you want to make this scalable, as we did with Asterix, you have to build specific audience segments for the Playmobil brand only, and we did that with other brands, all brands. We launched a new initiatives, Asterix Playmobil, and we are working on scaling, actually. And I also wanted to emphasize that we moved on to a different stage. Now we have the ASPL, which is a tool that is really performant, and we can work with Amazon Retail and Amazon Marketing at the same time, and with our internal marketing team as well. It's really helpful to work on the segments that we target with a DSP, for example, to have the right structure. And I think France was the first to do that. Yes, we built it. Amazon has so many references that were not very good with launching new products. In a shop, it's really easy because you can put the product in the best place in the shop. But on Amazon, you have 500 million different pages. So if you want to stand out, then you need to find how to do it. And so this collaboration between Amazon and brands was very successful. Thank you very much, Eric. We can see that Playmobil is already doing very well in retail media. If we lived in a world where everything was possible, what would be your dream? What would you love to do with your retailer data? First, I would love to have accessible, affordable clean rooms that everybody can have access to. And then there is something that you maybe don't know about toys and retail media. Why is retail media important with sales? Because there's children marketing, and it's difficult to target children directly. And then with sales, we know that we can target parents for children under 4, and then we can target them when the child grows up. And for example, with connected TVs, there are two segments, parents and children. For example, we can target parents at night. They can be exposed to adult campaigns, and in the day we can have children campaigns. So using TVs and retail data for segmented marketing. It's quite new, but it's going somewhere. Anything to add? Yes, the toy industry is incredible because we have both adults and children. They both use, buy, influence, and they can change roles very easily. So it's really interesting when you work in marketing. I think it's probably easier for brands like Gillette or cosmetics. Thank you very much to both of you. Does anyone have a question? We have 3-4 minutes left.
Bonjour, merci déjà.
Good afternoon, thank you. First, I have a question about measurement. You said that it's all very performant. Do you systematically do measurements with the task groups or not? And on the AMC platform, do you have all the right dashboards for measurement or not? I can probably answer for the first part of this question, because I use that a lot. About incrementality, we do not systematically calculate the impact. It depends on the media budget. Because if we want to have a test group, you need more budget. Otherwise, we won't get good statistics. And therefore, we need to have a large group of people, we need a budget, and we need the activation to last for at least 2 or 3 months, so that we have time to measure this incremental impact, because you need time to measure it. And then incrementality is important, but you don't do it for all campaigns. The first thing you measure is return on investment, so efficiency. And of course, you have data available on that, as for any campaign on Amazon ads. If we do frequency capping, we don't always need a test group. Test group that is going to be exposed 1, 2, 3, 4 times. So it's easy to improve that quickly. And you need budget, of course, to have enough data, but I think it's the same for any type of test. I think what is beautiful about this tool is that it can help you build applications that are even better, because you can use the data, you can access the data, so all you need is the skills. But of course, you have sometimes limits, programmatic limits, but you only need to build the right model, and then you can make the decisions.
Merci.
C'est vrai que sur le modèle SLPL, on a.
It's true that on this model we've never really confronted these populations.
Non, parce que c'est le produit en lancement, on pourra le faire effectivement.
La question est intéressante.
Moi j'ai une petite question.
I have a question.
Est-ce que toujours dans la même catégorie que Madame, sur la mesure de l'efficacité,
Still in the same category
vous avez eu l'occasion de mesurer
measuring efficiency, have you been able to measure the uplift of a data retail or media retail campaign versus data retail, other media in audience extension?
Donc c'est pas tellement une question pour
So it's not so much for you.
Parce que j'ai pas bien compris la question.
Defend, but thank God, because I didn't really get the question. No, what I'm asking is, so you have data retail that you can activate on your retail media, but data retail that is activated on another environment than media retail. And audience extension, have you ever tested it? Have you tested the efficiency? Well,
ça n'a pas été fait. Chez moi, ça n'a
no,
pas été
it
fait.
hasn't been done.
Nous, on le fait un petit peu, mais en fait, c'est souvent pas l'un ou l'autre. C'est comment les deux se marient.
It really depends. What's interesting is the combination. And again, Amazon and others, I'm not going to promote Amazon, but at least that they offer a modularity and openness, and that's the key. Because then if you have the value, you can prove it with the experiment measurement, and then you can articulate the best of both worlds. However, we tried to have analysis for TV campaigns and audience extension with you, and honestly, the results are not crazy. It's not very visible, especially because reconciliation of TV data is complicated. Yes. I had one question for Eric in terms of internal organization at Playmobil. How do you organize this type of campaigns? Do you have internal teams that are able to run the analysis, or is it Numbly that does it for you? That's a real question for us. We don't know how our teams between e-commerce and marketing, how they're going to organize on data retail. Well, how do we organize? It's right now, concretely, the way that we work. It's not only with Amazon, because we work with our customers in the same way, almost
all the customers slightly differently, but we have weekly calls with them, with each and every distributor that we have. We integrate retailers, appro, supply, marketing, procurement, data management, sales, and then we have 45-minute visual conferences because it's so fast. So we do that every other week. The first 30 minutes we take stock on the data, we see our performance, high funnel, low funnel. We just try to understand things because we have an intra-vision, but it's also important to take a look at what's happening outside of our world. And then in the last 15 minutes, we observe. It's important to understand how long we allocate to each topic, because otherwise we could have endless meetings. But it's really important to be efficient. And then we look at the tactics that we want to apply for the next weeks, and then everyone has to know what they have to do. Supply, logistics. Supply is really important because if the warehouses are saturated, then it's pointless. And then marketing, and everyone knows what they have to do. What's the next step? 1P and brand data is essential, and will be even more essential in a very short time when the world of cookies will have disappeared. So the advice that we give to brands is not to do things by themselves, because there are experts out there. A lot of them are in this room actually, and others who can support you. But giving everything to someone external to a company, it would be breaking away from your 1P, and it's not great. And the way that brands organize or are organized is such that data clean room, for that you need 2 or 3 BIs, people who understand SQL. They will give you use cases. They will program the clean room to retrieve data, but then you need people to leverage the data. And BI people are really crucial for that. But then you need to collaborate and work hand in hand. And do it with marketing teams and sales teams as well. Because at the end of the day, because it really has an impact on the whole procurement chain. Of course, there are media aspects, but also audiences extension, and as well as brand visibility, brand image, development of the brand image of the group in the long run, which is probably more marketing business than sales business. I'd like to add something. I fully agree with what you said. The one thing that I'm missing right now is a data analyst and a data scientist in the group, because things are going really fast, and our group structure doesn't go as fast as our web developers go. We update our apps and our structures every week, and I'm sure that other providers are the same. So we are in the digital sector, so things are going really fast. We're talking about machines, so things are going fast. We're just running after evolutions and updates. So we need to have a system to update everything. Now the question is, what lessons you draw from these insights, and how do you apply it within the different markets and different brands? If you have an international footprint or job, you can use and test different use cases in different countries. But then you need to be able to replicate it in other countries, because that is where you can scale up and have savings and synergies. Well, for Europe, and I know we had discussions on that, but brand maturity might not be the same across the different countries. So we might not always use the same levers or the same strategy, whether you have a small share market share, and if you need more brand visibility, the high funnel, and then if you have a lot of maturity for your brand, you're more on the low part of the funnel. You can mute me if you want. But what's important before you start working on the use cases is your KPI framework. What are your objectives? Business transformed into media, transformed into marketing strategy, and then KPI to measure your performance. Okay, great, thank you.
Merci beaucoup.
Well, thank you to both of you.